In this episode, Red Bull F1 finally loses a race. Big IMSA drama at Indy, and the NASCAR playoffs continue in Bristol. Welcome to episode 270 of the We Are Auto Show. What's up, Derek?
Mr. Muckarell, over the past week, I've been doing some iRacing. I know you have too, but Ferrari Challenge. That's a series that I'm sure you're going to get into soon.
Yes.
It's been a lot of fun. Racing at Spa. What?
I need to buy the car.
You do, but they were at Spa last week. I think it's this week. And P2 to P2.
Oh, big mover there.
Couldn't quite move anywhere.
You did not get the biggest mover of the race there, did you?
No, but I also was not very displeased. I was pretty pleased with that result.
Good.
So, yeah, quality P2, and the leader just said, nope, I'm gone. And then I said, okay, I'll stay here.
That is the second best option that could happen. Because the other option would be someone from way back yonder comes into turn one and uses you as their brake pedal.
P3 got to me, but couldn't hold my pace. So kind of faded away. And by the end of the race, I think they were 10 seconds back, like pretty far back. So, how's your iRacing been going?
I've been a little slow this past week. I've just been so busy. But the racing I have done has been decent. Did another GR Cup race at Laguna Seca. And I had arguably the best battling race I've ever had.
Those are fun.
I mean, I started P10 and I finished P7 or so. So I moved up a few places, right? The result was fine. But it was side by side through the vast majority of that race. I mean, every bit of like 50 to 6% of the corners were like defending or on attack, or defending or on attack, or defending or on attack.
Those races, even if it's for last place, are some of the most fun.
It was a blast. And It was clean racing. I mean, I made a big defense, and then he broke later than I did. And then he got the position. I got the undercut on him, and then I get him in the next corner. It's just so much fun.
That is the fun of motorsports and racing.
Yes, it is.
Dueling back and forth. Now, Speaking of fun and dueling back and forth, normally F1 is fairly boring, but this weekend, F1 finally gave us something we wanted.
Was unboring, yes.
It was unboring. F1 finally didn't have Red Bull win a race.
We did not hear the Dutch national anthem.
Oh, thank the Lord. Holy moly.
Yes, I'm happy, but also bitter, because at this point, I wanted to see him do it. I wanted to see him win every race.
Right.
I'm also happy just for the sport itself to just not have Red Bull win every race.
Yes. We didn't see them do particularly well in qualifying. I think they qualified. They didn't even make Q3.
Yeah. Liam Lawson knocked out Max Verstappen in like Q2.
Who?
Precisely.
Who?
Liam Lawson? Precisely. The reserve driver for AlphaTauri.
Yeah. Yikes. I do believe that Max Verstappen has never won at this track, which is the Singapore Grand Prix. It's like the Marina Bay Street Circuit, I think is the name of the track.
Yeah, I think this circuit's got his number.
Yeah, it does. For now, it definitely does. Red Bull cannot figure this place out, which, thank the Lord. But it made for some entertaining racing because we actually had battles up front.
I will say, Red Bull was not just not super fast. They were slow. They were downright slow.
They were slow.
I mean, I believe a Haas passed him at one point.
Yeah.
And I think Verstappen is back there going, what?
Mm-hmm.
I'm being passed by a Haas and an Alpha?
What's going on here,
what
guys?
Here? What?
But that meant that up front, we had Ferrari, Mercedes, and they were just going at it.
And McLaren, you're right.
Mm-hmm. They were all three just going at it with each other,
yes.
Which was amazing to watch.
God, it was brilliant.
Now, did you see the moment at the end of the race where Sainz kind of did his little fall back to allow for the DRS for the McLaren behind him?
Yeah.
That was awesome to watch.
Yeah, that was brilliant. And he actually said he was doing it intentionally over the radio.
Yeah.
Right? Because you could see the radio calls coming in to Sainz like, okay, Lando 1.2, Lando 1.4, Lando 0.8. He's got DRS. And then he replies back, I know. I did that on purpose.
Mm-hmm. And they also knew that the Mercedes were coming. So there's two Mercedes that were coming to inevitably they should have taken the lead. They didn't end up doing it.
And actually, I do want to give a quick shout out to the Mercedes crew. They made a great call on strategy coming in for those tires when they had virtual safety car. Because who was it that died? Was it Ocon or was it Gasly? It was one of the Alpines.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was Ocon that just died.
Yep.
So, quick little VSC came out, boom, dove into the pits, get tires. So now they had the most freshest tires of everyone on the field.
And they gained like 10 seconds in like a couple laps.
Yeah, I mean, they were chewing down.
They were flying. But the moment at which they caught the two leaders, so Sainz and then Lando, or Norris, since they had the DRS train going, the front two, they couldn't make the pass. The Mercedes couldn't make the pass. Mm-hmm. And it was brilliantly done by the race leader, Sainz, to make sure. Because if he doesn't give Lando DRS, then Lando gets overtaken. And then guess what? Behind him, they're going to have DRS, and they won't be able to make the pass anyway. So, bang, he'll get overtaken.
Yep.
He literally saved his own race and Lando's race and won the race.
Yeah.
All by just slowing down.
Yeah.
Which is really weird to think.
He who shall be slowest shall be fastest.
Turns out, that's how it went.
Yeah, that is big brain thinking there. Like, huge brain thinking.
Yeah.
Because most racing drivers are going to go, I am just going to go as hard as I can all of the time.
Pull away.
And I don't want him anywhere near me. But to have that like comfort level of just knowing like, okay, he's got DRS, but I'm still a bit quicker, so I can handle this.
There's an argument to be made, though, that F1 or automotive racing like this shouldn't be strategic. It should just be go as fast as possible, right?
Yeah.
But in this world that we're in at the moment, you do have to be strategic about the DRS situation, who's behind you, who's got fresher tires, yada, yada, yada. These like artificially emplaced things to make it more entertaining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was pretty entertaining.
It was very entertaining.
And towards the end, when the Mercedes were catching that duo, Russell was pushing hard.
Yeah.
And did you see how Russell lost it?
Mm-hmm.
What caused him to lose it?
He touched the wall on the entry.
But you know who also did that?
Lando Norris.
Yeah. Norris, in his post-race, he's like, I touched that same wall.
That was an absolutely classic racing driver following other racing driver and not picking up your braking points externally. You're just watching the car in front and going slightly later than them or slightly more than them to try to gain the advantage. And yeah, Lando cut it really, really close. He touched it, and then Russell was trying to push.
Have you seen the memes from this Russell crash?
No.
So, okay. We probably won't get a picture of it here, but you know the old famous quote, if there is a gap and a racing driver does not go for it,
right,
he's no longer a race driver. So, smack dab where Russell impacted the wall was the three letters in the words sing gap or gap. He literally spear pointed straight into the word gap in the words Singapore.
Nice.
The memes are fantastic.
That's awesome. That's cool. Yeah, this race overall, it did finally give us what we wanted in F1, which was awesome to see.
Yeah, speaking of what we didn't want to see was this guy that we're looking at here, Mr. Checo Perez.
Yeah.
Driving like a dick.
He kind of just punted people left and right.
He was just playing bumper cars with people. I mean, Albon and Tsunoda, he just decided, okay, I'm just going to go here. And I'm going to go here now. Thank you.
Is that one of the moments where the so-called legends or the fastest ones are like, oh shit, I got to do some more here. I got to like figure out how to make the car go fast, and you just overdo it?
Yeah, I think so.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think he was trying to overdo it because he knew that they didn't have the advantage for once.
I do want to make a quick little note here. One of the drivers we just scrolled past, Mr. Liam Lawson, the man, the reserve driver, scored his first points.
He did.
At Singapore.
He did. Yeah. That's super cool to see.
Freaking impressive, man.
Yep.
Meanwhile, Tsunoda can't score points for it all, anything.
No. But that's just Yuki things, unfortunately.
Did you see that Yuki's actually up on the chopping block right now?
I would not be surprised at all.
Rumors are, this is not confirmed, rumors are, as of recording this podcast, the two drivers that AlphaTauri are currently looking at, Ricciardo and Lawson for next year.
That actually sounds pretty good. That sounds good.
I don't hate that.
No.
You have an Australian and a New Zealand?
Yeah.
Ooh.
That'd be fun to watch.
That'd be a cool pair.
That'd be fun to watch. I'm down for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So who took down the win?
So the win went to Mr. Carlos Sainz, the smooth operator, right? Mm-hmm. Then you had Lando Norris, P2. Yeah, let's go. McLaren doing a pretty good look there. Then Mr. Lewis Hamilton finally gets on a podium again.
Good for him.
He's finally remembering how to drive. Then you had Charles Leclerc. That was P4. Max Verstappen finished a lowly P5.
Yikes.
A lowly P5. 21 seconds behind the leader?
How many points does that get him? 10?
10.
Oof. Wow.
Quick note on McLaren. Piastri also finished in the points. P7. So McLaren picked up 18 points from Lando. And what is that? 6 points from Piastri? McLaren getting some points here.
Yeah. That's good for them. That is good for them.
Yeah.
That will help them in the Constructors' Championship.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So, yeah, that was F1. Do you know, are they racing next weekend?
I did not even look and see what upcoming races we have. I will take a look and see. I feel like F1 might be on a break, but let me just take a quick little look-see. Oh, no, F1 is racing the 24th. That is this weekend. Yes, the Japanese Grand Prix.
Aha.
Yes. So
Okay.
F1 is racing this coming weekend.
Cool. So, let's move over to IMSA, because IMSA was at Indianapolis.
They were.
And now, this track in particular is kind of interesting. It's kind of very interesting. We've harped on it in the past for being flat and not very entertaining to watch.
Typically.
But IMSA has so much traffic that it was very entertaining to watch.
Yeah, in this one picture we're looking at here, there's 4 different classes.
Yeah. And there were 5 total at the race.
Mm-hmm.
And probably like 45 or something cars. It was very traffic filled.
Yeah, Indy, the road course at Indy is great to watch if you have 48 cars on track.
Oh boy.
Jesus. That's
a
a lot of cars on track.
That's a lot of race cars.
That's
across 5 classes.
That's a lot of cars on track.
With a big disparity in the amount of speed as well across the classes.
Speed on cold tires and hot.
Right. As we saw, some cold tire top class guys were really struggling. Like
getting passed by everybody.
All classes would pass them when they come out of the pits, which is cool to see. But then a half a lap later, obviously they'd make some speed up and they'd get some temperature in the tires, and then they'd be going. They'd be on their way. But yeah, it was awesome to watch. There were some great battles. There was a big moment in the beginning of the race. There was actually a crash at the very start.
Yeah, and I did see, not one of the pictures we're looking at, but I did see someone share a picture of a couple of cars of that crash, and there's a Cadillac that's just facing the wrong direction.
Totally facing the wrong way. It is Indianapolis Turn 1 on the road course, which is a very sharp right-hander that you're coming off the oval section from.
That also leads into a left.
Yes. So it's a pinch point for everything to kick off, and everything did kick off.
It reminds me of Monza.
Yes.
It reminds me of Turn 1 at Monza, where it's just ultimate chaos.
If you survive Turn 1, you're going to have a good race. But the if is kind of a big if.
It's a really big if. Yeah. It's like it is the elephant in the room.
If somebody takes it 3 wide into there, you're not surviving Turn 1.
Nope.
You just aren't. And that's what ended up happening. One of the Cadillacs got spun around. I think there was some contact. I think one of the BMWs had damage. It was kind of just chaos. Cars were going off in the grass, and they were spinning out. The Cadillac just stood in the gas, which created a giant plume of smoke or tire smoke, which was also kind of funny to watch. And yeah, it was exactly how we expected the start of this race to go.
Precisely. And actually, we're looking at a picture right now of later in the race. This is an LMP2 that is broadside going onto, is that the front straight or the back straight?
That is the front straight, because pit road's right there.
Yes. And did you see the avoidance of all the other cars around this spin?
I didn't see that one.
Oh, my God. It wasn't Ryan Dial that was in the car at the time. It was Dwight Merriman that was in the car at the time. His life had to be flashing before his eyes because I could see there were still some greens flashing around, but cars are coming around there at 1,000 miles an hour.
Yeah, that's a quick part.
I mean, especially with that train of prototypes, I mean, he missed that 18 LMP2 by inches.
Jeez.
Inches. I mean, at the last second, a twitch right, a twitch left, and
that's a scary place to be sat in a race car.
especially broadside like that.
Yeah, that's scary.
Ooh, don't like that.
I believe that this brought out a yellow, or I think it did.
It did,
and
yeah.
The yellow that happened here was a yellow that had some questionable actions between Cadillac and Porsche.
Yes.
So initially people thought, a whole bunch of rules got broke because there was a pass under the safety car.
You don't usually pass with a yellow.
No, I don't remember the exact car. It was the red Cadillac, passed two Penske Porsches.
Is that the 01?
Can't remember.
Oh,
It's
either
either the
way,
03,
whichever one it is,
01,
yeah.
whatever. Under the safety car situation in IMSA, you have what's called the wave around.
Mm-hmm.
And you also have the class split. Now, when you're doing the wave around in the class split, there are scenarios where you will like go past the safety car and come back around to the end of the train. There are scenarios where if you are the leading class, you will pass GT cars, LMP cars, like the other classes, to get to the safety car so that everybody can line up in their correct class order.
Mm-hmm.
In that sequence of events that was happening, apparently the two Penske Porsches that were in the lead of the race at that point didn't do the wave around correctly, didn't do the correct procedures. Probably, honestly, the drivers weren't told by the team to do the correct procedures at the correct time. And the Cadillac, rightly so, did go around them, take the position, which happened to be the lead of the race in this situation.
Under safety car.
Under safety car. Which, in Cadillac's defense here, was the correct thing to do.
It was the correct thing to do, but for those of us that weren't actually listening on the radios
Mostly
to the
everyone.
team, pretty much everybody was just sitting back scratching their head going, you can't do that. Why are you doing that? That's not correct. Everyone was expecting them to just give the position back because it's just not what anyone has ever learned you can ever do.
Right. I'm sure from the TV perspective, I heard the announcers were like going crazy, that everyone was just really confused on the broadcast, that it turns out the Penske Porsches just like didn't initiate getting to the front of the safety car queue, getting the class split going fast enough, which was kind of weird.
I believe they described it as the wave round must begin in a quote-unquote timely manner, or other cars are allowed to proceed, which is what the Cadillac did. He said, okay, well, you're not going, so I'm just going to go.
Yeah. Now, I wonder if we'll get a rules update as to like a timely manner, because that's a very vague stating of the rules at the moment. And I don't know the exact details of like how long the Cadillac was apparently waiting for the Porsche to go and whatnot, but there was no penalty handed out. There was a pass under yellow, which is very odd and very noteworthy. But other than that, the Penske Porsches were really good.
Yeah, it seems like they're starting to figure out that car a little bit.
They won at the home track.
Yes, but I will say the fact that the Cadillac was in the lead after that safety car set up for some fantastic racing.
Yeah.
I mean, oh, God.
It was classic IMSA where you dip, dive, and dodge around all the traffic in the best ways you can, and inevitably the car behind you just gains slight advantages time over time over time.
Oh, and then the next corner, they lose a bunch, and then they gain a bunch, and they lose a bunch, and then gain a bunch. And it came down to the pass for the lead into turn one. It was Porsche. It was Cadillac, Porsche, Porsche. Cadillac thought, I'm just going to go later than all of you on the brakes. Went full lockup. First Porsche, slight lockup, but not as bad.
Yeah.
Was able to go around him. And then the second Porsche just kind of seized the opportunity and went, oh, I can sneak through here too. Sweet. Goodbye. And geez, at one point there was a pass in a lap traffic pass of the Porsche GTP with two GT cars. And they were 3 wide going through a corner. It was unbelievable. I think it may have been Tandy when he was chasing down his teammate. And Tandy, knowing that, like, okay, these GT cars, as soon as they get on the throttle, their hands are going to open a little bit, and that's going to cause like 6 inches of a gap to open up. I'll wiggle my way right on through there.
Yep.
Just brilliant racing overall.
I will say that this track did provide some amazing racing, and I was pleasantly surprised.
And amazing racing in GT as well.
Yeah.
There was a battle between a Lamborghini and Mercedes. Did you see the highlights of that?
I did.
Oh,
Yep.
bumping and grinding, just will not give up a position, will not. That was
There was a battle
wonderful.
between Lexus and Corvette. That was also another good one that I think ended in shambles for both of them. But it was good racing nonetheless. Yeah, no, there were some good battles across the field, and it was very entertaining to watch with all the chaotic traffic. That's what you love about IMSA.
God, it's fantastic.
So that sets IMSA up for the final race of the season coming up, which will be at Petit Le Mans, which is Road Atlanta. And I think that's coming up in about a month now. So sometime next month.
Yep.
We'll see the final race, which is a 10-hour enduro.
Yeah, Petit Le Mans.
It's going to be cool.
Fantastic.
So what were the top 3 cars, at least in the top class?
Okay, top class. You had the winner, which was the number 6 Porsche 963. That was Nick Tandy and Mathieu Jaminet. Then the number 7 Porsche Penske was P2. That was Matty Campbell and Felipe Nasr. And then you had, surprise, a BMW.
Really?
The BMW GTP, the number 25 of Connor DeFelipe and Nick Yellowly, placed P3. They had a podium at this race.
BMW. Wow.
So Porsche, BMW, Cadillac, Acura, Cadillac.
Wow. That is not what I expected as far as manufacturers go to finish here. That's cool. That's
Really
good to
cool.
see.
Yeah.
Good job, IMSA.
Big
Keep
fan
up
there.
the work. Keep up the good stuff. That's what they do. So let's move on to the final bit of racing that I want to chat about, which is NASCAR.
Brother.
Now,
Couldn't resist.
NASCAR was at Bristol, and it was a night race, which
And it was a non-dirt night race.
non-dirt Bristol race, so an asphalt Bristol race, which is kind of weird that this track can do that back and forth, but it can. And I also don't know how many other tracks can do that. I'd be curious to know. If you know of a bunch of other racetracks in the U.S. or just elsewhere that can transition from asphalt to dirt at any time, let us know.
Yeah, drop it in the comments or send us a message on social.
Curious. Other than that, this was one of the final playoff races before a cut happened.
Yes, that's right.
So there were championship points on the line, and there was also the playoff situation where 4 drivers, before this race, 12 drivers were in the playoffs. After this race, there will only be 8 drivers remaining. So 4 would get cut. And there were a variety of different players that were kind of jockeying for positions. They had the whole stage situation in NASCAR where you get like essentially 3 checkered flags. There's like a green checker that they throw for the stages. And the points are awarded at 3 different points throughout the race. It makes for some interesting strategy calls because you'll either pit or not pit or try to gain track position or, kill some tires to gain some speed right before the stages and whatnot. And unfortunately for a few drivers, there were some moments and accidents that kind of killed their playoff hopes and dreams.
Yep. One of the notables there was Joey Logano.
Yeah, Joey Logano did get the boot.
Yep, he's not moving on in the playoffs.
Nope, he got involved in a little accident. Definitely had some suspension damage, and that day was over.
Yep.
But this was some good, classic, hard NASCAR racing. The top line would kind of get gripped up. The middle line could work, and so could the bottom here at Bristol. So
Yeah.
you'll see a lot of cars initially running the top, and then they'd transition to the bottom, or they'd kind of sit at the middle. And Bristol's just an interesting track because to stay on the lead lap here is very tough. You don't have much time. A lap time is like 15 seconds or something like that. So 15-second gap in road course racing is not much time.
But, yeah, I mean, one pit can help you there. One yellow can help you there.
It's a lap in Bristol. And going a lap down is kind of rough in NASCAR. Sure, you have the lucky dog to be able to get back up. But, like, once you're a lap down and a yellow comes out, you're a lap down.
Yeah, you're kind of doomed.
There's not much you can do other than some crazy pit strategy and hope that all the guys in front of you pit. Yeah, it was entertaining. Who took down the win?
The win went to Mr. Denny Hamlin.
Ah.
Yeah, Kyle Larson take P2 and Christopher Bell P3.
And I believe that Denny Hamlin is one of the playoff drivers. Can you find who the remaining playoff championship contenders are?
Yes, give me just a moment.
Yes. I believe that one of them that we're looking at right here, which is Christopher Bell, I think that he is also through in the championships. So it's shaping up to be an interesting run. I was also talking earlier today about a concept in NASCAR that I'm not 100% sure on, but in theory, you could win one race, which would mean that you're in the playoffs, and then you could sit out the rest of the season, wait until the playoffs, go race the next race. If you won that one, you would move on to the next series in the playoff setting here. And then if you continue to do that, in theory, all you need to do is win 4 races and you would be all set. You would win the championship and it would be no problem. But it's only a theory.
Yeah, so right now, the drivers that are in the playoffs, William Byron, Marty Truex Jr., Denny Hamlin, Kyle Larson, Chris Buescher, Kyle Busch, Christopher Bell, Tyler Reddick.
Kyle Busch is in there. Interesting.
You got some drivers on the bubble, and that would be Ross Chastain, Brad Keselowski, and Ryan Blaney, as well as Bubba Wallace.
Okay. So how many are there's currently 12 in right now?
8.
Oh, there are 8 in right now. Okay. So
and 4 on the bubble.
We'll see what happens throughout the end.
So 8 still in, 4 on the bubble till after Charlotte.
Yes, and I believe they have 3 races, Charlotte being the final one, and then that will cut it down to 4, and then we'll have the final race at Phoenix.
And they are racing this weekend, by the way. They're
Where
racing
are they
in Texas.
In Texas. Okay. Cool. So big race for those 4. Other than that, you're kind of just doing it. Kind of just racing.
Yeah.
Not really in the championship hunt.
Correct.
So that's all I got, buddy.
Quick little recap for what's coming up this weekend. You got F1, the Japanese Grand Prix, NASCAR's in Texas. We have a race here at home.
Yeah.
SRO is happening at Sebring this weekend. The ELMS, the European Le Mans Series, is at one of our favorite tracks, Spa-Francorchamps.
Ooh.
Yeah, that'll be good to watch. And that's kind of a quick summary of what's coming up this weekend.
Sweet. Looks like a lot of racing is happening this weekend.
Yeah, that'll be some good stuff.
Cool.
So that's all I got for episode 270. Thanks so much for watching and listening. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel, leave a thumbs up on the video, and drop a comment. Let us know, are you glad that the Red Bull dominance has come to an end? And if you're listening on audio only, send us those thoughts via social. Facebook is We Are Auto, Instagram is WeAreAuto_, YouTube is We Are Auto, and our website is weareauto.io. So, thanks again. Catch you guys in the next one.
Peace.